Hi, and welcome to Indie Learning Music Tutor. This is Harry Felker, I'm your tutor, and today we're going to talk about the major scale. Uh, Generally, all music is based around the idea of the major scale. It's the entire circle of fourths, fifths is based on major scales, and there is a relative minor portion to that, but that's for a later discussion. Today we're just going to go over the basics of the major scale, where we talk about the shapes that we can use, the formula that's used to derive the major scale, and what have you. So for today, we're going to move over here because this is a bass heavy lesson. We're going to start with the G, well, we're going to start with the C scale. What you're going to do is you're going to take your fingers and you're going to put them like this, finger per fret, starting with fret 2, that B. Not that we're going to be using it there, but we're going to start there. We're going to have our first finger hit the C, that's our root note. Then our second finger goes to the D. Then our third finger goes to, our first finger goes to the E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright? Very simple, very basic. Once you get that under your fingers, it sounds very clinical. You may want to do maybe some rhythm with it. You know, just to get used to playing with rhythm, playing in rhythm. There's nothing saying you can't do scales in rhythm. I actually suggest it highly. I did not, and I paid for it. And it took about a year's worth of study to get my rhythm right. So start off on a good foot, and just once you understand where you need to be, start implementing rhythm right away. Don't worry about going faster, that'll come with time, but worry about getting used to hearing things with rhythm. Get an internal clock going. That's the reason why I always suggest using a metronome. I may show you the exercises without one, but that's just so that I can do it slow enough so that you can see it. Now, the major scale, it's generated from a formula based on the neck of stringed instruments is based on it. The actual formula is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. If you are studying in England, it's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Different nomenclature for exactly the same thing. And what that means is when you do your scale, and I'm going to do this all on one string, so I'm going to end up here, right, on the C. So I'm going to try to keep me in view. We go whole to the D, and then we go whole to the E, right? And then we go half to the F, right? E, F. Then we go whole to the G, whole to the A, whole to the B, and then half to our octave. That's the formula. And it's very important to learn the actual formula, because when you move forward with your playing, there are going to be scales that you're going to use that start at different points in this formula. That formula is golden. It doesn't ever change. It's always going to be that way. It's based on the ratio between the notes, how our ears handle the difference between our ears actually do insane amounts of calculation in frequencies, and when they hear, it's the reason why that sounds dissonant and this sounds consonant. Why this sounds dissonant, that sounds consonant. Because our ears are actually doing calculations before the sound even hits our brain. Before our brain can even register what we're hearing, our ears already did all that math by themselves. It's incredible. The human body is freaking insane. I digress. First thing I would suggest you do is get used to the notes of the scale. An exercise I learned for this from Phil Mann is to cut off your instrument here at the 12. Okay, so you don't use the octave of the open string. And then you start from F and you run through the whole but instead of hitting the 12 and the octave, you go open string octave. So right, and then with the F sharp, do the same thing. And then we do it with G. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Then we do it with G sharp, A flat. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Then we move on to A. There's our A, so whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now, easy way to check yourself is, you know what note you start on? Your seventh should always be a semitone underneath. That's always going to be the case. When you're going chromatically up the neck on this exercise, your sharps, your flats are just going to change because you're not following any cycle. You're just following the chromatic notes. That's our major scale. Now, what is the major scale? That's another entire topic that I'm going to do in a separate video titled Harmonization. But generally work on that first. Get this under your fingers. You don't need to do it lightning fast. You don't need to do it to a click. If you want to get faster at it, make it more second nature, I would do it to a click just to keep yourself honest with the rhythm. You know. You know, just even and inconsistent notes. Always remember, you know, use good technique. Keep your fingers, your fretting hand close to the fret bar there. The closer it is, the better you are, the less chance you need to buzz. You know, always alternate your fingers. No one finger bandits there. Always alternate, always remember to use good technique all around. There's no reason to cut corners just because you're learning. If you use a foundation of good technique and you keep that foundation stable under every new thing that you learn, then you'll never lose that foundation of good technique, and that's 99% of the battle of playing an instrument, is having good technique. So there's that. I hope you all have a great day. Enjoyed this. Hope you learned something from this, and I'll see you next time.